Welcome back to the Stephen A. Show. Adam, how's it going? You're right there in DC. We have a new president-elect, a new VP-elect. What is the mood out there? I know we've seen it on TV, but you being there, what's the feeling?
Yeah, so it's great, first of all, but my wife and I were out having brunch outside on Saturday,
Oh, when you
and,
found out?
and then we heard the news and all the cars were starting to honk the horns, and we live like I said last time, we're about a mile and a half from the White House, so we're pretty close in that
Yeah.
sense. But we walked all the way down to Black Lives Matter Plaza, tons of people everywhere, tons of cars honking. It was definitely a feeling of relief and the 4 years kind of
Yes.
dread that's been over the whole country is over, and everyone was excited and full of energy and full of life. So it was great.
Were you shocked that 71 million people still voted for Trump after everything we've seen?
Yes, definitely. It's crazy to think that this election should have never been this close, right? It's ridiculous to think that there's still so many people who like him or wanted someone who represents those kind of ideals still
Yeah.
elected. So I'm glad it's over, but it's still astonishing to believe that there's still many people who would rather have this racist individual over someone who at least can do some change and hope for the future. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Well, thank God we had a record number of people come out and vote. 75 million for Biden, 71 million for Trump, and we have a new president-elect and VP-elect. So that's a great thing.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, well, I'll let you and Chike take it away with movie reviews.
Sure thing. So the movie I saw this weekend, it was called A Call to Spy, and it's a movie that was released about a month ago on streaming in the US, and it follows the real life stories of these women that worked in the UK during World War II that were part of the new spy agency in the UK. And so one is an American actually called Virginia Hall, and she worked as a spy in France, setting up a whole network of safe houses, ways to kind of build the resistance, work with the local townspeople within occupied France during World War II to kind of build this resistance and repel the Nazi forces. She orchestrated prison breaks. And one of the interesting things about her also is she had a wooden leg. So she was a very interesting individual, and she even had to escape the Nazis by hiking, 30 miles through the Pyrenees to go to Spain, to go to Portugal to escape. And it really just tells the story about this woman and another woman, Noor, who worked as a radio operator during this time period in occupied France as well, and how they were able to help. And I don't want to say it's like a parallel today, but it's you're fighting Nazis and you're really working for the good of the greater cause. So it's on Amazon. Overall, it was really good. Great acting. It's it kind of falls in that same vein as Hidden Figures, where Virginia and Noor weren't in the same time period per se, but this movie kind of puts them together to kind of tell their story and keep things moving along. But I thought it was very enjoyable. And again, it has a good message and really gets you to appreciate the kind of unseen side of history that we get sometimes when we watch a lot of these like World War II or any kind of historical situations. And then the next thing I saw wasn't a movie, but it was a TV show called The Queen's Gambit. And I don't know if either of you have seen this or watched it yet, but it basically is a Netflix miniseries that follows the story of this chess prodigy as she grows up in this orphanage and becomes one of the top players in the world. And I really enjoyed this series. What I liked a lot about it is it had a very fast pace style to it, but it also made chess interesting. And I don't know if either of you ever played chess. It's definitely, you see chess and you don't think it's like that exciting, but they did it in a way to kind of visualize and give you a little bit of that excitement of chess tournaments and how this world worked during the 60s. And I think also they succeeded with the style. It kind of had that Mad Men feel to it, where it's very stylized people, and you got to see Mexico City in 1967. You got to see Russia in that same time period, and really they did a good job with the set pieces and costumes. So highly recommend. I was surprised how hooked I was after watching the first episode, just to see what would be happening next, and I really enjoyed it.
Good. Yeah, I've been seeing promos for the Queen's Gambit, and I'm glad that you saw it and you can give me a little insight into it. And now I'm more interested in watching it.
Yeah, I will
Um,
say when I watched a trailer, I was like, I don't think I'm going to watch a TV show about chess players, but I'm glad I gave it a shot. So definitely think about it.
cool. I saw one film. It's called Spell, and it stars Amori Hardwick and Loretta Devine. Um, it's a thriller, or I guess thriller horror.
Hmm.
Um, so basically, Amori Hardwick's character is a lawyer who is originally from the southern backwoods of some deep Louisiana swamp town, and makes it big and becomes a lawyer, and eventually loses his father, and he has to go back home with his family. And I'm only giving you as much as what's in the trailer. He has to go home and take care of his father's last rites.
Hmm.
And so when he arrives home, or on home soil, uh, well, let's put it like this: he's very well to do, and he flies his whole family back home. And as he flies his whole family back home, there's an accident with the plane,
Hmm.
and he wakes up in a strange environment. I likened this movie to Misery. If anyone's seen
Oh,
Misery,
nice.
it's yeah, but there's a different element to it. Loretta Devine is a voodoo priestess, and she's holding him captive. You don't know why, you don't know what for, and he's totally against anything what they call in the movie hoodoo. They call it hoodoo, not voodoo, and it's very interesting. I found it to be very good, and it kind of plays on African American sensitivity when it comes to those spiritual things, and how they play into our culture, and what it really means to be, um, I guess, a hoodoo or voodoo priest or priestess. um, and it plays a lot to the South and how the South thinks about certain things in certain areas. I thought it was very good. It was good and entertaining. I don't know if I would have went to a theater to see it if you were able to go to a theater, but it was great for home,
Nice.
great for popcorn, great for a good rainy
And
day.
what was that
Great.
on?
I highly suggest it. It's called Spell,
No, what's it's
and it's
on?
on early release on Amazon.
Oh, okay, okay.
Say that again.
No, that was asking where it was on Amazon. Okay.
Yep. So I definitely recommend that. It's one of the better thriller movies that I've watched over this still Halloween season. But I'm done
Hmm.
with that now, and I'm going to move on to other stuff. And again, there was another episode of The Undoing, excuse me, last night on HBO. I'm telling you, this show is primo. If you want a good mystery or a good plot, definitely check it out. Nicole Kidman, and Hugh Grant really excel in this. It's really, really good.
Nice.
Awesome. Yeah. I saw an interview with Loretta Devine and what's the name again?
Amari Hardwick.
Yeah, and they were asking her about Wait and Exhale sequel because they were doing one after Whitney Houston did Sparkle,
Mm-hmm.
but then they after she passed away
Mm-hmm.
they decided not to do it. Well, Loretta Devine said that they're developing a few projects. One may be a sequel, but the other one is about the kids and how they develop, how they move forward. So I think that'll be interesting. But the kids, I thought there was two. Angela Bassett had her daughter and son. That's like for two scenes, and then Loretta Devine had her son, the guy from Scrubs. What are they gonna do with the kids?
And you remember, Layla Rashawn was pregnant at the time.
Oh,
remember,
yeah.
she had gotten pregnant. Yeah,
Mhm.
and then who
I don't think anyone
knows?
cares
I mean,
about
I
the
think
kids,
in the book, if I mean, but it's a good continuation to that story, and the mothers would have to be involved in some way. But I think that they should continue, and I think that after all of this time, they probably could get away with having another Savannah.
No, they
They
couldn't.
could get away. Yeah, they could. I mean,
No,
of
they
course,
couldn't.
we all don't do that because you love Whitney Houston.
Well,
We're
they
talking
tried.
about Whitney.
Well, listen. There was a rumor years ago that Oprah was going to play Savannah. No,
No,
and I love
absolutely
Oprah.
not. Nope,
No.
nope.
Now
Bad
listen.
casting. Love
Just
Oprah
say
too. Bad
Savannah has
casting.
moved on to glory and be done with it. And
No,
I
because
think the
if that's
characters
the
can move
case,
on.
no, because the story is greater than the characters, and you need the character for the story. Steven, I trust me on this.
Why'd you go see that movie?
I didn't go see it because of Whitney Houston.
Oh.
I didn't go see it because of Whitney Houston. I love Whitney, and I know you do. I love her too, but I did not go see that movie because of Whitney Houston. I went to go see the movie because of the story. It was a book before Whitney Houston had anything to do with it.
I know nothing about that book. Go ahead.
Also, what draws you into a movie and then what you get out of it may be totally different. So you may
No,
go
but
to
I
a movie
think
for
listen,
someone, but then what you get from it maybe change your whole mind, right?
Okay. All right. Well, anything coming down the pipeline that I want to discuss?
I know, no Big Brother anymore. So what are you watching, Steven?
I'm watching a lot of news, which I always watch. But let's see. What am I watching? I cannot determine when Power actually comes on because every time I go to watch a new episode, it still has the old one. So I don't know if I'm missing something. But nothing major, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Waiting for the next season.
I can't really get into that new Power simply because
No, you said that. Yeah.
It's just Power all over again, but just with Tariq. And I've grown to hate Tariq from the first one.
Yeah,
so seeing him, running around acting crazy in this one, it's like
he's selling drugs. He's doing a lot. Let me ask y'all this, because we talk about Big Brother. Because you all asked me this last time, could either one of you all be on Big Brother, you think? Confined in a home for 2 months with 12 people running a game with each other?
I don't know. I could be confined in a home for 2 months with like 12 people. I don't think I could do it on a TV show though. Like I think if you said I had to get stuck in somewhere, I mean, I guess kind of we're doing this with the quarantine, but
right.
I don't think I could do it like in a competitive TV show sense.
And the thing is, listen, we only see it 3 days a week, but their camera's running the whole time.
Exactly.
And that's why a lot of the people get in trouble. Like there was one guy, he was on the spectrum, and the people he thought his friends from the house were teasing him, but that wasn't shown on TV. That was shown on the live feed.
Yeah.
And one girl lost all of her sponsors. She was a previous winner. She lost all of her sponsors, and her husband was trying to defend her. Yeah. Go ahead.
And you remember in the other segment, you asked me what was my animal, and I told you a Wolverine.
Right.
Because there's a berserker mode to me as well. There would be no way in hell I couldn't do it.
And then there's one guy, and he's a jerk. A jerk. But I think this is the thing about being on camera 24/7. There was a little issue, a question about whether he used the N-word talking about someone else that was on there. And CBS said he didn't use it, but a lot of people think he did use it. So it's like when you're always on, you have to be on guard, and sometimes you forget the cameras are there. So
that doesn't excuse his behavior, but I know what you're saying.
Hey,
but I'm saying,
we've seen what reality shows.
Yeah,
right.
I was gonna say we've seen what reality shows have done to people that have not been on 24/7. They're on and then they're off, and then that still affects you mentally. I don't want no parts.
Yeah, I wouldn't want it. I wouldn't want it. They would get on my nerves anyway. But listen, guys. Thank you as always.
Wait a minute. So coming up, coming up, I'm an avid listener to the Questlove podcast show, and shout out to Questlove and his team. And Fontigolo, who is a member of that cast, actually was talking about a documentary style type show called The Seduced, which basically follows like a cult leader, and it talks about the cult and the interworkings of the cult and how the cult is funded and what their agenda is. So I think I'm going to check that out because it was highly recommended, and I trust their judgment. They tend to be like us. They have good sensibilities when it comes to certain things. So I'm going to check that out.
When it comes to these reviews.
Well, we tell the truth, Adam.
Yeah,
we tell the truth, right? Yes, that's right.
Y'all do. Y'all do. All right, guys. Well, thank y'all so much. Have a great week, and we'll talk again this Monday.
All right, sounds good.
All right. We're right back after this.